Orgasmic enlightenment, where the sexual and spiritual come together. I'm Kim Anami, and I'm a holistic sex and relationship coach and a vaginal weightlifter. In this show, we explore all things intimate. I believe that our sexual energy is life force, creative energy, and we can use it to shape our worlds, strengthen our relationships, and self-actualize. I blend the most avant-garde information from neuroscience, ancient sexual practices like Tantra and Taoism, to renegade wellness modalities to show you how to create gourmet sex in your lives. Come one, come all. The myths of menopause. Very excited about this episode. So I want to kick off today with a note we received from a very proud husband. He listened to last week's podcast, #ThisIs48, and he wrote in to share this with us. He says, just a short note to say that my beautiful wife has a very high libido. We make love several times a week and is succulent and juicy on a permanent basis. She squats and deadlifts 65 kilos, which is 143 pounds, which is 25% above her body weight. She has a gorgeous body and wears the sexiest bordel lingerie you can imagine. This is a very high-end lingerie company that I think they're based in the UK or Europe. She's been running her own business for more than 20 years. I am so blessed. She is 73 years young. So how do you like them apples? Last week, I talked about defying age and especially the common stereotypes that go with it. Women have this even harder because they get this menopausal death sentence handed to them, and then they're told that this is normal, that it's normal to have no natural lubrication after a certain age, no natural hormone production for their sex hormones, and no libido. Basically, no life, at least no life force. No, all gone. But instead, because your body is so inept, you can very conveniently be saddled with a lifelong supply of KY jelly, artificial hormones, and a brand new drug for female libido, and maybe we'll toss in a few organ removal surgeries to kick things off. Look, if you're an allopathic doctor or an OBGYN, menopausal women are your cash cow. They are the gift that just keeps on giving. It's a lifelong dependency. Seriously, they're like a drug dealer's wet dream, i.e. an allopathic doctor. This is such a crock of shit. First off, menopause as a shitty experience is a largely Western and mostly North American concept. There are places and cultures on the planet that don't even have a term to refer to this stage of a woman's life. France is known as the country that menopause forgot. In Japan, they don't even have a name for hot flashes. And then there are indigenous cultures that don't even acknowledge any kind of shift, or if they do, it's that the woman is now transcending into elder statesmanship, right? She's becoming now an elder, a wise woman, rather than some kind of shut down, like some mandatory list of awful symptoms that have been that get prescribed along with this change in their life. So they haven't had this awful prescription, so they simply don't get these symptoms because they don't know that they're supposed to. I've also seen that in cultures where older women are perceived as still sexual and beautiful, like let's say in Europe, where like an older woman can still be very sexual, women experience less of these prescribed North American symptoms. And of course, we have our old friend, the Western medicine motto, which is the normalization of dysfunction. Meaning if you can make it seem that it's normal that people experience such poor health, then your baseline is pretty low. And then not having problems is actually the rarity. And now through our gloriously fucked up culture that pretty much I would say is a calculated campaign by people who profit off of these things, there's now this giant kind of movement. Oh, you're shaming someone. Oh no, you're shaming someone. Like women saying that they can have a pain-free, trouble-free, soaking wet vagina and a billion orgasms in menopause. Oh my God, you're shaming women who don't have that. No, we're fucking not. This is actually what's meant to be, and everything else that you're seeing is some indication of dysfunction and unhealth. This is a lack of health. And there's obviously if you're in that position and you're listening to the supposed experts who are telling you this is normal, telling you that it's normal to have to supplement with hormones as you grow older, it's not. This is their business model. And they probably even believe that that's true. They've been brainwashed to believe that that's true. And then people who think that they're doing the right thing and they think that they're protecting the disenfranchised, it's like this whole army created of people who will fight for your right, for dysfunction. Yeah. Oh, they're such lunatics. Well, we don't do that over here in Anamilan. So if you want to learn how to free yourself out of this unhealthy and deadly paradigm, then stick around and learn. If you are all about whining and all this shaming talk, then you can see yourself to the door. My own explanation for difficult menopause has been that if a woman is loaded up with several factors like stress, ill health, and imbalance, then the turning point of menopause will exacerbate these things. So this is a transition time in the body where it naturally looks for other sources to produce the hormones it needs for the woman to remain alive and juicy. Do we really think that nature is so dumb, or in this case mean, that it's going to say, oh no, you're totally finished, bye-bye? No way. This is a time of reconfiguration. If the woman is healthy and strong, this will pass with nary a blip on the radar. If she's not, this will be like another stone on a pile of rocks that weighs her down. Most people do not take very good care of themselves. Their diets aren't optimal, they don't exercise regularly, if at all, and they don't keep their emotional house in check. So most people are going to be hit very hard by these kinds of transitions. And so why is it then that the women I know, including myself, who are committed to radical good health, they just sail through this time with no problem, no episode whatsoever? So from a physiological perspective, there's a name for this, quote, failure to thrive. It's called pregnenolone steal, and it can happen in men and women. And it's a very common symptom of the modern world because most people are operating in constant stress. So pregnenolone is known as the mother of hormones. When your body is in a constant stress state, it's generating adrenaline and cortisol, the stress hormones, and there isn't much left over to produce the other hormones that you need, say, for proper sexual health, like progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. So this might mean that you feel tired, depressed, have a low sex drive, increased weight gain. It also affects your periods and menopause. So my view is that a body and a woman in optimal health are going to waltz right through her menopausal situation because she's not stealing the pregnenolone away so that it can't, build her proper sex hormones. It's like doing what it needs to do, which is supporting the system all around. So in my view, the things that a woman needs to do to really support this time would be, one, exercise her vagina with a jade yoni egg. So this creates massive lubrication, orgasmic reconnection, sexual healing in the body. Very powerful tool. Eat well. So whole foods, organically grown diet. Exercise her whole body. And I mean really exercise. Walking a few times a week is not exercise. You need to sweat and build muscle. And then to feng shui her sexual self and relationship. These things will get her going again or keep her going and smoothly transitioning through, especially the sexual pieces. So I've had women who are in the category of not eating that well, not really exercising, not even exercising their vaginas, and they come gushing back to life when they clear blocks in themselves and in their intimate relationship. So I mean sexual blocks. Boom. I've also had women who simply began exercising their 60 to 70-year-old vaginas and feng shui their sexual selves, and boom, the 60 and 70-year-old ladies be a gushin'. So my point is, overall, that these symptoms and conditions are not mandatory. They are not a necessary part of menopause, like low libido, lack of natural lubrication, not feeling very well. There can be all kinds of different factors contributing to these things. As we've talked about, stress can affect hormone production and overall health, and there's other factors that I talked about too. But my view is there is always a solution and hacks, meaning that just using a jade egg can trump having stress. Once you wake up your sexual energy and heal sexual blocks, that creates such an elevated effect in your system that it transcends these other factors, even diet, even exercise, even stress. It goes beyond them. So my view is that in nearly every situation, there is a solution that is natural, healthy, and uplifting for the entire system. My solutions do not include drugs and surgery. The sexual prescription is number one. And so one of the best ways to combat stress and cortisol is sex and orgasms. So the oxytocin that you generate through gourmet sex and orgasms, especially the deeper vaginal orgasms, has the effect of immediately wiping out cortisol. So a lot of orgasms and great sex is actually your best remedy for menopausal stuff and the potential pregnenolone steal. So the women that I know who triumph through this time in their lives, they have sexual self-knowledge, they're committed to their sex lives, and they have the intention that they will slide right on through, and they do. Today, we've brought in Sammy, a well-fucked all-star, to talk to you, who is, in her words, 70, absolutely scintillatingly strong, alive, vibrant, and juicy. FYI, this isn't the same 70-something woman from the beginning of the podcast. Nah, it's a different one, because I have a ton of them. Well-fucked all-stars! Hello, Sammy. Welcome.
Hello, Kim, my sweetheart. I am just so thrilled and happy to be talking to you. You and your work have so revolutionized my life. Can't wait to talk about it.
I'm so excited to hear more. So, this whole project of the Well-Fucked All-Stars is a way to really highlight people who've done this personal sexual work and have had these really transformational results in their lives. So you, in my mind, are an especially epic representation of this. So tell us a little bit about how old are you? This is a very important detail, especially for you. And what do you do in your life?
I am 70. I've been on this planet for 7 decades. And I've been talking and teaching about sex for some 50 years now. Talking about it longer than that, probably 65 years as soon as I could talk. But I've traveled around the world, studied with lots of teachers. And I really want to say, Kim, you are absolutely superb. You are way above the margin. In fact, you've really started a revolution as far as I'm concerned here. My work, I'm a sexuality counselor, among other things, also grief counselor, etc., and pastoral counselor, and also a sexological body worker. And that's why I've just followed every dimension about sex, trying to learn everything I possibly could. And when I found you, oh my gosh, it was like, she's speaking my language and teaching me more. That was also just so remarkable. Like I was telling you earlier about, for example, my spouse, my mate, is so thrilled about the cum diet, and which I was always into, but he also swallows as well, squirting, and it gets more and more delicious as time goes on. And you really, I don't know anybody else who uses that term, so it's probably your term, but man, what a great theme. Not just that, there's so many other things. Like I was also mentioning to you a little earlier about the whole body orgasms. The gasms all over the place. When you first introduced me to this, elbow gasms and nipple gasms and all these gasms, which I was already experiencing, but I never attached it to that kind of, that's another form of orgasm. And especially people, like I was saying earlier, in my age range, who still have this very isolated programming about you only have one form of orgasm, right? Mm-hmm. That's it. And usually for the males, it's like you get it up, you get it in, you get it out. That's it. Yeah. And then you go to sleep, start snoring. Yeah. And so Right. And I also took your male mastery course as well, which is phenomenal. I think every woman besides male should do this. Not as well as all your courses. The well fucked woman is just, utterly amazing and incredible. And I'm so enthused about this because, especially as I was saying, people in my age range, people atrophy. The people around me are atrophying. The bodies are atrophying. Spirits are atrophying. They don't know what can happen for them. They don't know, and they've lost the belief and the hope and the energy to rejuicify themselves. One of the big themes in people my age, of course, for the males, it's the lymphatic, this horrible expression of ED, and which sets up a negative programming in the brain. And also for the women, the dry vaginas, and so they don't know that they can relubricate themselves. They don't know how to plug in and turn on and get turned on.
So I want to just focus on a few things that you said. So the idea very reinforced in our culture that once people reach a certain age, even in their 40s, that they start to perhaps need Viagra. Like this is a promoted idea that women need lubrication, they need hormones, they have to supplement with all these things or they are going to be sexually inept. They won't have any of these natural responses any longer. And so the fact that you have 7 decades going in you and you have what you refer to as a juicy vagina. So, I mean, tell me about that. Like you have a juicy vagina, you have regular sex dates with your partner. So you've clearly, flown in the face of all of these supposed concepts. So tell us, if you would, about your juicy 70-year-old vagina.
Yes. So I said, I am going to juicify my vagina. And that's when I began to realize, first of all, how to turn on my parasympathetic system, to move into the aspect of surrendering, of opening, of relaxation, of breathing. Lots of breathing techniques I practice, meditation techniques I practice, to really open and allow my vagina to speak for herself. And also teaching my partner, my husband, to softer entry, because he was already experiencing that anyway. And how nature does that for us with older people. This is very interesting, but rather than get off on that tangent. And so his openness to be willing to allow has given me the information that I needed to know, okay, I'm feeling a little safer here. I'm feeling more safe. I'm feeling that I can relax more, because unless the communication goes on, my vagina, it clamps shut. It does. It'll stop, and it'll stop lubing itself. And as I feel safer and more comfortable with that, then I start to lubricate. I do naturally. It starts. I also practice daily self-pleasuring. This is a very, very, very important thing. I do it on an everyday basis. And either I do a whole variety of different techniques. It would take me another 2 hours to describe all the different things I do. But basically, I'm with myself. I'm loving my vagina, my vulva, my pelvic floor, my body, myself. Loving. And this is also what increases the lubrication. So basically, I'm walking around all day long, well lubed, very juicy.
Always wet, perpetually wet.
Yeah,
Our Lady of Perpetual Wetness.
Our Lady of Perpetual Wetness. I love this phrase. Yeah. And then, so meeting you, listening to you, I said, she's that's it. She's there. I mean, she and I are on the same page here, and so that's really what I promote strongly. And several women I've worked with, older females I've worked with, who really seriously have this issue. they also are doing these kinds of things I just described, and they're youthening and rejuvenating themselves. Oh, speaking about youthening, this has not only made my vagina younger, this has made, I mean, younger than I am, I'm sure. I don't feel like I have a 7-year-old vagina at all. At all. It feels more like maybe 40. It's not as it was when I was 20 or 30, but I'm not the same person I was at 20 or 30. This is the
Mm-hmm.
other thing is my youthening, because of all the sexual stimulation and life that I pursue and that I have, um, I feel younger than I ever felt in my life. I would say
Amazing.
maybe not like a teenager, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't would want to be like the
Smarter
teenage
one.
revolution. It's very, yeah. It's like all the things I've learned. Plus, I mean, my body is amazing. My health is amazing. My vitality. Well, you can hear it. I've been
You
working now
definitely
this
can.
morning since 4 a.m. Right? I've been working, and I'm the same energy, and I work until like 6, 7 in the night, and it's the same energy. I'm
So
alive just like this.
you too. It really shows in your voice. You sound very vibrant, very alive, very positive. Um, so you're wearing that vitality, and this is something that I
Yeah,
talk about a lot. You would have heard me. The well fuckedness is something that we inhabit and we wear and we radiate. And not only does it give
right,
us more energy to live our lives and
right,
infuse into everything we do, but we also
right.
wear it like this energetic magnetism that we begin to draw things to us, draw people to us, and we just shine with this vitality that's palpable to the people around us.
Oh, totally, totally. That, and you really also introduced this as all the many things that you've introduced. Um, uh, this concept that we can radiate it. Like when I walk into the local shopping food place, the local mall, wherever I'm going, um, I feel radiant, and people respond right
Mm-hmm.
away to that. I can feel it, and the connection is there. We never have to experience loneliness. This is something that consistently, especially folks in my age range, younger people too, is the fear of loneliness. And I'm going to be alone. And if I don't get this one, then my life is going to be, at an end. And I say, oh my gosh, we are social human animals. We never have to feel lonely. Once we turn on that sexual life force energy and keep it moving, turn our own pilot light on. One of my teachers used that phrase, turn your own pilot light on. Turn the light on, then it stays on. You radiate all over the place. You connect with everybody. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm having orgasmic experiences when I'm walking down the street.
Really, and that's it. That's this expansion where we take the sexual energy that usually most people have just concentrated at the genitals, and then they get aroused, and then they just dump all of that energy out of their system and they get depleted.
Yes,
And in this
yes.
work, it's about recirculating that sexual energy and then wearing it
Right,
and then learning how to
right.
consciously channel it into all parts of your life. But it also takes that sexual energy as a vitality and energy source, not just
Yes,
this encounter. And
right,
it's this thing
right.
that you then, you wear it, it infuses all of your cells. You become this. And so you actually
Yeah,
inhabit this turn on in your day to day life. You feel
yeah.
aroused by life. You feel aroused by the projects that you engage in. You feel certainly aroused by yourself and your partner and
Yes.
your work.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Totally, totally. And that's one of the reasons I also love edging, because keeping that edge, keeping that point of uh, the orgasmic lengthening, that really allows me to keep going all day long, all to radiate, to in my work, just as you describe it, it infuses the work. It infuses finances. I don't even think about finances. They come. Whatever I need comes. It comes because I'm drawing that to me because I feel rich inside. I'm not a wealthy person externally, but I am so full of wealth internally, and that I have every single thing I need. I'm wherever I am is a paradise. That's the point, too, that no matter where I land, no matter where I live, no matter what age I am, I'm making paradise. I'm creating. It's sort of like creating the heaven thing,
Yep.
and so that's how I feel. That's how I feel. And you also were one of the first people I've ever heard. As I started using the term sexual life force energy years and years ago. And then when I heard you say it, I said, oh, this woman she's really something.
Thank
You're
you.
really something, Kim. Keep going.
Tell me about your sex dates with your partner. So you said like
Ah,
part of your whole regime is that you have regular sex dates with your partner.
ev- every day.
Every
Every
day.
day.
You have sex every day.
We have some form of sexual expression every single day. The whole day for me is about orgasm. Is about being turned on. So when his physical presence comes back from wherever he is at, and even when he's not, I call, I text, I think of him, I send him energy, love, goodies, kisses. When he comes, I can feel him when he comes in the door. I mean, physically walks, and I can feel him. I brush, his shoulder. That to me is thrilling. Um, I touch his cheek. I kiss his lips, his nose, his neck, his head. I touch every part of his body. We do this frequently throughout the day. And, I mean, if he happens to be home and if he's away, and when he comes back, I can do all of this physically. We do this every day, every day. We don't have intercourse every single day, but when it's practical, we do. We have lots of blowjobs all over the place,
Love it.
everywhere, every part of the house, every outside, everywhere we can, in bathrooms. It
The
doesn't matter.
roving blowjob. That's
I
my
love it.
favorite. The
I
blowjob anywhere, anytime. The
Totally
best.
the roving blowjob. Yes, the fast, the long. It doesn't. It goes. It's fast. It's quickie. It's long. It's delicious. I teach women how to give blowjobs. They don't. Many women come to me. They say, "Ugh, I don't want a blowjob. Ugh, I don't even go near it." Ugh. And of course, they've been conditioned, about this. They don't know what a gorgeous cock how gorgeous cock is, how wonderful, how stimulating, or vulva, if they're into vulvas, how
Right.
wonderful the vulva is. The whole pelvic floor, not just the genitals, as I said before, kissing, um, hugging, smooching with all the parts of the body.
Well, I
You
love
know,
what you're saying is that you are keeping your sexual energy high all the
yeah,
time. So
keep
you're
it hot.
not just relegating it to a time and a place like in the bedroom in the
Right,
evening. That's when this happens, and then it doesn't really spill out of there. For you, it
right,
spills out over into any time of the day, any part of your life.
right,
You're
right,
wearing this energy constantly. You're aware
right,
of it in
right.
yourself, in your relationship, and then you
Mhm,
are constantly exchanging and playing with, engaging with
mhm.
this energy with your partner. And so you're
Right,
living in this, what I call a state of constant sexual simmer. So you're
yeah,
simmering all of the time. You never really have this extinguishing of the flame or this dropping down to an ice. You're always
no,
in that hot
right.
zone, like, nearly at boiling all the time. And that's where I encourage people to live. And that's when you really take advantage of that life force energy of your sexual
Yes,
power, is then you really do
yes,
tune into it as a life force, as nourishment, as a superfood supplement that you
it
can take
is.
all the
Right,
time and get
right,
energy from. I
right.
talk about my coffee breaks when I need a bit of inspiration during the day or feel my energy drop. Oh, I'll go and self pleasure for about 15, maybe 30 minutes, and then come back to work with all kinds of creative juices simmering.
Right. I love that term sexual simmer that you use too. That is fantastic. And because of that, there's no such thing as boredom in sex
Why is
or
that? Why do you
the
think there's no
duty
such thing as
about
boredom in sex if you're doing what? What makes sex not boring?
the sexual simmer, the radiating of it every single day, so that when I approach myself, my body, when I turn myself on, there's always something new to discover. There's some new place, new area that I haven't touched uh, um, in a different way yet. I'm looking forward to the way I can touch the back of my neck, my throat, the inside of my mouth, not just my vulva, but my legs. Uh, Music also is part of my life, so I use that, as to directly stimulate me. And so when I'm approaching my partner, um, every approach is new. Every single day, every time is new. There's something new to explore,
So do you
and
think it's
so
your
there can't be
attitude?
boredom with that.
It's your attitude
What?
that
I'm
there's
sorry.
something new to explore?
Attitude,
Mm-hmm.
totally. And there is not only just my attitude, but it's a reality. The body, there's every single I guess second probably, but certainly every minute, there's new cells being born.
Mm-hmm.
Through apoptosis, the old cells are dying, new cells are being born everywhere in our body, and therefore there's a new me coming about every single, I feel it every moment, but certainly every day. And so with him, so with my partner, there's a new person there. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's a cellular, alchemical experience, as well as a conscious, attitudinal experience. I don't know, it's like chicken and egg. I don't know which comes first, but now they're so blended together that every morning when I wake up, it's like, wow, what's a new day? Wow, I get out of bed with, wow, what can I do now? And sure, I have aches and pains. It is not that, there's not creaky things going on in my body at this age. There just is. But it's not a hindrance to me, because pain is also a messenger. I treat it as a messenger that I can listen to
Right.
and
Yeah.
communicate with and transform. So any kind of pain, whether it's a pain in my vulva, or it's a pain in my joints, or wherever it is, I say, oh, okay, so tell me what's going on there. Tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what are you afraid of something? I have actually dialogues with my body.
That's
And I teach
great.
people how to do it too. Yeah, it's so great, because then there's never not that despair doesn't happen, not that all the other emotions don't happen. They do, because of old programming that's still lodged in my brain, that's lodged in all of our brains. We've absorbed this stuff from our society, but everything can be changed. I've experienced that over and over again. I wrote about a lot of this, change and stuff in my book. I have a book out, and it's about my life, and just showing. I wrote it basically to show that any middle class person, anybody, no matter where they are born or what they're born into, can change their lives. No
Mm-hmm.
matter what traumas and experiences they have, they can change their lives, because that's what happens on this planet. There's the law of change. It's a part of the planet. It happens everywhere in nature, everywhere in the rest of the animal kingdom, and we're social human animals. So we've got it too.
What's the name of your book?
Oh, it's called Scalded: The Making and Undoing of an Extremist. How about that?
That's great.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add that we haven't covered that you feel is integral to your being a well fucked 70-year-old woman?
Oh, keep going forward. Whatever's happening, that's my motto. I keep going forward, no matter what trauma, what devastation, what experience, what ecstasy, whatever it is. Keep going forward. There's no limit. There's absolutely no limit. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. Life is phenomenal. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, you certainly, just by listening to you, just as we said earlier, just in the way your voice, the tone, the sound, the inflection, the energy in your voice is so vibrant and contagious and beautifully open and aware. So you clearly are wearing the energy of a very sexually inhabited woman, and it's so beautiful to see.
Oh, sweetheart. Thank you so much for all you're giving, all of us, to the world. You are doing a most courageous, a most amazing work, and your life is a testimony to it. Everything I've heard about your life is a total testimony to it. You have also been doing all of these same things, I feel. And we're together in this.
Thank you, Sammy.
Oh, thank you, Kim.
In conclusion, who is in charge here, you or your hormones? Last year, I did a workshop with the legendary Wim Hof. And if you don't know the Iceman, as he's called, he's this amazing guy who's learned how to hack and override his autonomic nervous system, or the ANS for short. So he set something like 16 Guinness World Records for things like climbing Mount Everest in a pair of shorts only, like just wearing a pair of shorts, and running a marathon in Iceland in his bare feet, and I think sitting in a cold ice, like an ice tub of water for 3 hours or something like that. He's defied so many of the supposed physical limitations that humans are told they have, according to, and I'm making air quotes right now, science. He does these things, like because he can override his ANS. So your ANS is responsible for the things that we don't have to consciously think about controlling or doing to stay alive, like breathing or your heart beating. We just do them. And we're told that we have no conscious control over them. We do. So I've been controlling the duration and the frequency of my menstruation for the past 20 years. And recently, or semi-recently, when I knew that my partner and I didn't want to have any more children, I stopped my menstruation altogether. No big deal. No symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. I don't even know what this fucking shit means. I'm serious. Like, I have to end up looking it up because it doesn't apply to me. So these are all the techniques that I teach in my salons for all women, particularly in vaginal kung fu with the menstruation control and the overall well-fuckedness and sexual energy clearing blockages in my well-fucked woman salon. The big message here is that you can rise up and gain control of these things and of you. If not you, then who? The How to Be a Well-Fucked Woman salon is coming. Are you? This is my signature 8-week salon for how to live, thrive, and orgasm in a female body. In the Well-Fucked Woman salon, there'll be a special section on well-fucked menopause, where we'll go through all of the tips, tricks, and hacks so that you can move through this stage of your life with grace, glory, plenty of orgasms, and tons of gushing lubrication. Check out the free video series on my website and look out for registration opening in mid-July. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, subscribe and also leave a review. And send someone else the gift of a healthy libido and an off-the-charts love life by sharing this episode with them. We'll be back next week, and in the meantime, many happy orgasms.